A lot of people have been noticing, including myself, that the animation meme community has been dying on YouTube, but it might be for more reasons that one might expect. Also, unfortunately, for all my old heads out there, the old animation meme community is not coming back. Sorry.
It's something in me.
Animation memes have been on the internet and predominantly on YouTube since its creation around 2006. They were probably being made even earlier before that on websites like Nico Nico Doga, and Newgrounds even before 2006, but most of them are obscure or obsolete now. Back then, they weren't really known for being animation memes. They were just known as silly little animations that animators could copy from one another. Soon enough, they got rebranded into being called animation memes, and that is how they are known as of now by the general public. For many, and by most in the community, the prime of it was considered to be between 2016 to 2019. However, I've noticed an influx of people that joined after this time frame saying that they want old animation memes back, either because they reminisce about a time that they were never a part of, which is predominantly seen in Gen Z with 2000s culture for the most part, but also because they have a certain charm to them that a lot of users have wished to have experienced. And honestly, I can't blame them for that. That shit was low-key dope as hell, I can't lie. Of course, that also means that there's people who are veterans in the community saying the exact same thing. And after hearing that sentiment for a while, I was beginning to ask myself if this was just a case of nostalgia tripping, or has the animation meme genre truly changed enough for people to want to bring back the old one, per se. I feel like I can bring insight into this question that I asked myself as I joined the community around late 2016 and have been in it up all the way until 2026. So, yes, that means that I've been in the community for roughly around 9 to 10 years. Most of the things I will be stating in this video are trends that I've noticed throughout my years. This also means that I will be mainly talking about the time frame from 2016 to 2026 because that is the time frame that I was a part of. I will not be talking about the animation meme community before 2016 simply because I was not a part of that time frame, and I don't want to be speaking on things that I was just not a part of because that can lead to misinformation. Since this is from my own experiences in the community, that obviously means that it's just going to be mostly my opinion on things. I don't expect everyone to agree with the opinions that I uphold, since I know that everyone's experience in the community could have been completely different from my own. So, if you want to disagree with me or you want to add anything into the conversation, please let me know in the comments. I'm always super happy to read what you guys gotta say. Remember to keep it respectful. Don't throw slurs. I'll just block you off my channel, dog. Alright, alright. For all of you who are unaware, an animation meme is a short animation that is copied using a specific format. It usually has accompanying background music that is most of the times copyrighted. Remember that fact. That's a special tool that can help us out later. The subject of the animation meme is oftentimes the animator's OC or original character, and they are often seen dancing or doing simple movements like head bopping to the song or audio that they decided to use. Obviously, not all animation memes follow this very specific format, but that is the general consensus on what animation memes are known to be. A lot of these animators are young people who are first being introduced into animation, or older animators who just want to practice animation or do it for fun or as a hobby. And obviously, since the animation meme community is filled with a bunch of children, that also means that it will have a bunch of problems accompanying it. But I low-frequently already talked about that in another video, so I'm not gonna get into that for the most part. What I will be getting into is how the bullying culture in the animation meme community has kind of relatively stayed the same, but not at the same time. I know it's crazy to even suggest the idea of there being a bullying culture, but there is already a empathy drought on the internet in general. but that's another topic for another day. Back around 2017 to 2019, there were these things known as cringe compilations, as well as this other genre that was called animation meme reviews. Animation meme reviews were predominantly made by grown men, like YouTubers Solar Sands and PK Russell. Although Solar Sands was mostly criticizing the animation meme genre as a whole, while PK Russell took specific animators and graded them based on their animation and storytelling capabilities. Which, little side tangent here, I fucking hate PK Russell. I have hated Pro since day one, dog. I genuinely cannot believe this man decided to make an entire community of 12-year-olds believe that if they didn't have studio level animation or studio level writing capabilities, that their animations were inherently bad, when that was just not the case. And I'm pretty sure this contributed to the downfall of the animation meme community, because after this point, way too many people were preoccupied with making their animations perfect instead of trying to have fun with their animation memes. And I definitely fall under this bracket because even myself, literally like 6 years later, still struggle with trying to make animation memes, because if they're not good enough, then they just don't deserve to be posted. For all my veterans out there, you know that I originally started as an animation meme channel, and I uploaded around 50 animation memes. Most of them are unlisted now because I just didn't consider them to be good enough for the general public to view them. Anyways, though, yeah, fuck PK Russell, I hate that bum, bruh. Anyways, these cringe compilations and these animation meme reviews were rivaling with animation memes in terms of views and popularity. Sometimes animation meme reviews and cringe comps got way more traction than the regular animation memes that they were criticizing. This phenomena ended up putting the animation meme community in the limelight of the general public. And while a lot of the internet clowned on the animation memers, it wasn't all bad because it also introduced a lot of people into the community. And with the very quick uprising of the members in the community, this introduced new artists and creators into the space. And this is why this time frame is considered the prime of the community, because with the amount of people that were in it, everyone was making animation memes. So, the community was growing and growing. However, this also introduced people who were not necessarily in the community for fun. The group of people who I'm talking about were prioritized with criticizing these kids for their animation memes. And it's not in the same way it is today, because they were mostly interested in criticizing how the animation meme was made. They weren't really interested in criticizing the contents of the animation meme itself. Also, not to mention that a lot of the animation meme creators at this time were pretty relaxed, because a lot of the original animation memes were pretty out there in terms of format and style. Very much out there that a lot of the animation memes from back then would be considered corny by today's standards. But almost everyone rocked with them at the time, and that's a big thumbs up I give to the old animation meme community for not bullying people for being quote unquote too corny. I think that shit is lame as hell, bro. And I'm saying this because today, now people bully animation meme creators because their ideas are a bit too corny for their liking, which is really funny considering the community they are in and how it even started to begin with, but I digress. I personally don't like to gatekeep almost anything because I find that shit to be low-key kind of lame. But people who genuinely make fun of other people for what they create, whether they consider it to be cringy or not, are low-key frauds in the animation meme community, and they don't deserve to have a place in the community at all. I think this is one of the reasons why a lot of the animations that are made are very similar to one another. And what I'm referring to this is that a lot of the animations look the same because it really feels like if you try to do anything outside of the box, you'll probably just get bullied or made fun of for it. So why even try to step outside of the box when you're just going to be criticized for it? There's no point, and I don't blame people for not wanting to try that. Anywho, enough of that negative stuff because I guess it's okay to complain, but complaining all the time also gets exhausting after a while. Something I'm actually really happy about that has been changing slowly but surely is the accessibility of tools artists can use to be able to create stuff for themselves. A lot of the animation memes back then started on apps like Flip a Clip or MS Paint, and they were edited on things like KineMaster, Power Director, or Windows Movie Maker. Sometimes people didn't even use editing programs, they just screen recorded and then just slid frames on Flip a Clip to be able to make an impression of an animation. Also, not to mention that people were using games like Gacha Life slash Gacha Studio at the time because a lot of people back then weren't comfortable enough with their drawing skills to be able to make full animations yet, so they would take assets from those games and use them as pre-made rigs, which is very fascinating to me because it shows that people can truly use anything to make art. And at the time, that would be considered rigging. It's just that a lot of us didn't want to call it rigging because we didn't even know that's what that was. After 2020, apps like Flip a Clip have vastly improved, and there's also new programs that have come out that are basically better than anything we've seen before. A big example of this would be Toon Squid, which I really want to be able to try out because apparently it's really good art program. But one, I don't have an iPad, and two, I'm not buying Apple products. So y'all have y'all fun with that. Also, there's been a lot of drawing programs that were originally just made for making art, like 2D drawings, that have implemented their own animation features into them. Examples would be like Ibis Paint and Procreate Dreams as well. As well as there has been better editing programs that are a lot more accessible as well. Examples would be like CapCut, which is incredibly user friendly and free, and Alight Motion, which is basically the standard even though it is paywall. But it's okay if it's paywall because there has been a big resurgence of information involving a type of pirate, which by the way, it will always be okay to pirate things, especially Adobe products. I personally have Adobe Animate. It's pirated. I'm not paying $60 a month for a shitty software that barely works. By the way, none of these companies are sponsoring me. I'm just stating what I see a lot of the time. Do your own research before spending your money on these apps. With the wide array of tools available, that means that people can make better quality animations at a very fast rate as well. Especially since a lot of these apps specifically focus on tweening over frame by frame. Tweening is a lot faster than doing frame by frame for all of you who don't know. Tweening isn't necessarily worse, it just takes less time than frame by frame, although it can be a little bit more tedious as well. And personally, I believe that this is a good thing because, like I said it before, a lot of the people who are animators are kids. They are people who are in school, and if not, then there are people who have jobs. And I personally believe that if a certain app or a certain technique of animating can make their life easier for them, then I feel like that's completely and totally fine. Although now a lot of people are able to understand now that tweening is the same as any type of animation, there used to be this problem back then where a lot of people will try to say that frame by frame is better than tweening. And that mostly stemmed from the idea that tweening was quote unquote more lazy than frame by frame. Like I said, a lot of people were focused on trying to make their animation memes the best that they can, despite them not having the time or the resources to be able to do so. So personally, I'm glad that we outgrew this stupid mindset. Not only is this efficiency good because it helps animators improve faster on their skills, but also because the algorithm as we know it as today is not forgiving to those who can't post every single day. And this applies to almost every mainstream social media app out there. With short form content taking the entire internet by storm and infecting almost everything that we know, it was very important for these animators to adapt to that. Before 2020, a lot of the animations were posted onto YouTube, but at this time and at this point, YouTube was preferring long form content. The reason behind this is because YouTube, when the video is longer, can place more ads into the video, meaning that they make more revenue, and therefore, the longer the video is, the better it would do in the algorithm. And as we have stated before, animation memes are a few seconds long, so they were just not catching as much attention as they used to. When TikTok started to get increasingly popular, a lot of the animators moved on to there. not only because TikTok prefers short form content and the animation meme style had already fit that, but also if you bring back that special little tool that I told you to remember, these animations already had copyrighted music in the background, and TikTok doesn't punish you for having that copyrighted music in the background since it is a mostly a music app. I think it's perfectly fine for animators to have moved onto an app that is basically tailored for their type of content. But at last, everything has a catch, and TikTok's catch was its short lived quote unquote trends. Also, not to mention that almost everyone on TikTok is basically an asshole, and you cannot be original at all. You must follow inside the specific boxes that are placed on there for whatever reason. The same group of people that had to rebrand animation memes to animation trends because they don't know how to use Google and search up the definition of a meme are the same type of people bullying others for being creative. But we already talked about this, so I'm not going to repeat myself. Because of TikTok's short lived trends, a lot of these people had to end up making animations as fast as possible, which is kind of really hard to do because, as we probably already know, animation takes an extremely long time to make. This caused for a lot of the animations now to be incredibly repetitive and have the same ideas over and over and over again. While yes, it kind of makes me sad that we lost the charm that made animation memes what they were, which was, copying specific formats, I don't particularly blame creators now because of this hustle, you must always produce content and make money culture. And all of this to be able to stick in the algorithm and not fall off. And I think all of these things combined contributed to the dead community that is the animation meme community, specifically on YouTube. It is very much alive on TikTok. I will not deny that. But on YouTube, you don't see them as much anymore for these specific reasons. And to be honest, I don't think that it has nearly changed as much as people believe it to have had. I think instead of it changing, it just changed the way it executes the things that happen in the community. Like I said, people now prefer tweening over frame by frame. People prefer apps like TikTok over YouTube. We still really care about the production quality of the animations, but we also really prioritize the quantity of animations that are being pumped out as well. Instead of them being called animation memes, they're just called animation trends now. And by the way, I think it's perfectly okay to reminisce about old times, but it is also important to acknowledge and to celebrate the small wins that we do have. Like I said, for example, the accessibility of tools people can use to create art now. I personally think that's really cool. I don't know. I don't think that I'll be leaving the community anytime soon. It holds a very special place in my heart, even if it is kind of whack sometimes. And although I don't make as many animation memes as I used to before, I still do watch them sometimes, and I'm still very incredibly happy when I do watch them because somebody made that. Holy shit, somebody made that. It's very cool whenever I see them. And while I was looking back at old animations, I came across two channels that really do bring me joy because I think personally, they handle the nostalgia with such delicate care that it's just very charming to me. So I'll be name dropping them right now. First person I want to mention is Mouthy. I don't know how to say their name. Their handle is Mouthy08, and they make animation memes, specifically old animation memes from around 2018 with the old styles from then. They kind of have an art style mix between Sleepy King, Sleepy King and Sashley. They also go out of their way to try and replicate the editing style and backgrounds from back then, and I think that's pretty cool as well. Mimi San's wife and girlfriend, their handle on YouTube is Mimi Paws. Their channel mostly consists of them copying Sashley's old 2018 art style. By the way, copying an art style isn't a thing, but that's kind of what they're trying to go for, so I'm just gonna call it that. Their animations are much smoother and very much more polished than Sashli's old animations, but I think they do a very good job at replicating the old art style and format that came with Sans Fangirls. I think the reason why this specific channel caught my eye is because when I first joined the community, one of the very first niches I became a part of, one of the very first subgenres, was the Sans fangirl community. I wasn't a Sans fanboy, nor did I ever watch anyone play Undertale or even know what it was, but all I saw was everyone simping over this skeleton man for whatever reason. Needless to say, I was enamored with the animations that came out of this niche. So, seeing someone bring this very specific niche back, a niche that got bullied by a bunch of people back in the day, is just very nice to see. But anywho, yeah, you guys should go ahead and make your own animation memes. Fuck what everyone gotta say. Do whatever the hell you want. I don't know. I'm just a guy on the internet telling you what to do. Do whatever you want. Okay, bye.